Hello, Demi. How are you? Welcome to your private reading. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you. So first and foremost, I'll put this in the email too, but just as an FYI, I'm going to need your birthplace and your birth time in order to do the astrology. So I'll put that in the email. If you want to send that back to me, I'll send you a separate video. But let me just go ahead and do the tarot. We'll keep it totally intuitive and we'll see just what comes out regarding this connection with Nate, okay? Oh, well, okay. Yeah, obviously. Three of Swords. We don't really need to talk too much about that. You know, there's still a sore spot. There's still some pain. There's still healing that's needing to be done. You know, sometimes we have these kind of karmic connections that we're just so drawn to and are so magnetic, and the up and down thing can be so, I mean, it has its own gravity. It's addictive sometimes. And when we finally break free from that, and when we finally like really separate ourselves from anything that's, you know, not healthy, we can be a little disoriented for a little bit. Let's leave it there. Let's talk about the Empress. There's a mature quality here. There's nurturing and caring. I think you care about each other. I think you do. I think that caring will never really go away because you respect each other as human beings and you respect what you've gone through together. I think in a way, I don't know, someone is taking the higher road. I don't know what that means. That's just what came to my mind. Someone's taking the high road. You should be proud of what you went through, but I don't see you going backwards. I don't see you rekindling, or I don't see you making your way back together. Although I do see, look, this to me often is a feeling of fulfillment and a feeling of unconditional love. But nothing has to be done about this. The Ace of Cups is usually something that, like, just one day you wake up and you're like, oh, wow, it's amazing. I feel better. I truly do feel forgiveness. I truly do feel like I want the best for that person and I want the best for myself and all of this. The Ace of Cups is a renewal of the connection. Now, when I say a renewal, it doesn't mean being back together. The reason why I'm saying that is because these two cards are very independent energies, meaning very single. And sometimes this has to happen in order for us to get here, because this is usually a product of some psychology stuff, right? Childhood issues, mommy, daddy issues, whatever, coming into a relationship, validating one another, fulfilling loneliness. Those are not good places to start a relationship. Unfortunately, it happens all the time. Relationships are healthy when they are formed, when each individual is in a place of full completeness within themselves. When people go into a relationship with awareness and consciousness. And they're not so trapped in their egos. This had to happen, do you see? It had to happen like this. Because this was a stepping stone only. It's not the ending. It's a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone into your awakening, into his awakening, and your pathway to wholeness. Because sometimes we need someone to expose our wounds, to expose our pain, to expose the things that bother us, to expose our ego, so that we can learn to deal with that stuff and to learn how to control that stuff. So the renewal is the renewal of how you see the relationship. The current state it's so hard to go back. You wouldn't want to go back if that's something that you want. When you're asking what to do, I'm like, I don't know. What do you do? I don't know. Nothing. I don't see anything here. Forgiveness toward Nate is forgiveness toward yourself as well. Because sometimes we allow things to happen and we feel guilt for that, or we don't stand up for ourselves and we have to forgive ourselves for that, or we let something go on way too long and we have to forgive ourselves for that. So whatever it is, issue forgiveness, please. Yes, hopefully you did. And that does transform the relationship, and it transforms you. This is death, a card of transformation and metamorphosis. It's a card of reinventing yourself. And see, when something is getting invented or reinvented, there needs to be that spark that kind of triggers the desire for the reinvention, right? And I think that's what this was. It was a spark. It was a moment in time where you were illumined. Oh my God, I'm having such a hard time talking right now, and I don't know why. I just finished another reading. It was so wonderful and so smooth. And I'm like, okay, what am I picking up on? It means I'm picking up on something and I'm just not able to identify it. Because there's so many questions. Let's pull more cards, right? Let's just pull more cards. There are just so many questions, so many things flying around, so many feelings, so many, like there's still up and down stuff. Keep the lines of communication open. I don't see any reason why not. Okay, the nines. So important. Stay single for a while. Offer forgiveness. Stay single. Learn from what happened. Sometimes talking through things. Yeah. If you had any kind of a recurring fight that kept happening, I don't know if that's really what it was, but if there was any kind of thing that kept resurfacing, if you were to really talk, I wonder if that would just bring up the same kind of issues still. The high road, remember, someone is taking the high road. I think that's you. And it's, maybe you being the mature one saying, you know what, I'm ready for the peaceful pastures, and, okay, so this person needs clarification. This person is looking for forgiveness, and that's fine. But I'm moving on, and I think you are, in the most beautiful kind of way. I mean, this is a very smooth transition, even though maybe you are feeling very distraught and stressed and all those feelings that don't have words to go with them. But where you're headed is toward a place of peace. And there is so much abundance here. I mean, can you just look at the gardens that are surrounding these two beautiful queens, right? Or the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles. I see them as queens. And they live in these lush, abundant places like a Garden of Eden, where anything they wanted, they have because they created it. They planted the seeds, they nurtured the seeds, and they watched their abundance grow all around them. And I think that's really where you're at, is in this state of creation, right? The queen energy, the feminine energy, is the creation energy. So there you are. And you're in the perfect place. I don't have a different, I mean, there's no other word. It's a perfect place. Keep going in this direction. If you can learn how to, because you're young, so young, oh my gosh. If you can learn, I'm laughing because I'm like, I wish I knew this. My life would have been a lot easier. But if you can learn how to follow your heart, which is what happened, you moved to a different city, you know, you are continuing on your life. And if you can learn how to keep doing that, you are going to see yourself go really, really far in your career, in finance, in love. I mean, you're just setting yourself up for massive amounts of success. If this relationship wasn't serving you and you moved on, amazing. Holy cow. I wish that I had more readings like that. Most people cling to relationships because they are so afraid of the loneliness. But the less and less fear you have of being single and being independent and being self-reliant and being on your own and being your own source of joy, the more likely you are going to find like an amazing partner who is the same way. And together, the two of you can create this like crazy, awesome power couple situation of two unstoppable people that love and support each other. I mean, isn't that really the end game? I don't necessarily see that this is the person for that. I'm actually getting a feeling that this other person is on a path of self-discovery of their own. Death coming out, it's a whole big thing. It is. And this phone call, you know, he contacted you after 2 months asking you for clarification. This phone call is a part of his self-actualization process. And he's learning, you know, he's going through the stuff. Becoming better, as we all are. Let's clarify the death card. A relationship was not your life path, okay? You are right where you need to be. I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't. Strength comes out to remind you of your higher self. And I love that the queen and the woman, all the feminine energy is so great. The woman here and the woman here are the same woman. Okay? And they represent the superego, the one that is connected to the oneness, the part of you, the consciousness, the awareness, the one that is aware of your thoughts and all of that. And this is the epitome of self-control. And I think you have a lot of self-control here. Why am I getting such a mature vibe from you? I mean, it's off the charts. You're so young. I do readings for 50 and 60-year-olds who don't have this level of maturity coming through the cards. Like, you are, I think, someone who is, I'm not just trying to BS you, by the way, but I think you are someone who is a part of like this incredible soul group who is coming to this planet at this time in the early 90s, right? Who really are here to awaken the world. And I think you're very likely one of those people. I was expecting, when I was reading your email, I was expecting some really dark cards to come out. Tarot is amazing because it doesn't allow my expectations to show up in the cards. It just tells me what you need to know, right? It's a direct channel from you to the cards. I just interpret them and that's it. But this is a message for you directly. And let's look at this Three of Swords for a second. Yeah. That's the guy. Okay, oh, the chemistry. Oh my God, I know. I wouldn't waste another second on it. I wouldn't. Your future is so incredibly bright. It is so powerful. And it is so like if you lean into the mystery, it has nothing to do with this relation. Like this whole thing has none of it has anything to do with this relationship. Does that make sense? Can that make sense to you? This whole thing has nothing to do with the relationship. You taking the high road, offering forgiveness, and finding love in your heart for his process. That's the only thing we can really fall in love with and truly respect, right? Is the process. And we could respect the person for taking on the process head on, right? That's an option. Or we can, let our ego get in the way and be like, oh my God, they're not the perfect boyfriend. They're not everything I want. Like that's not what I see in you. I don't see you playing that game. Find peace. That's your number one goal, right? Find peace. If you are still disturbed, because this Lover's card, oh my God, it is so intense. Believe me, I've been there. Like where the sex is amazing and the connection is amazing, but for some reason you guys just pushed each other's buttons, and maybe there were promises that were not carried out or whatever it was. That relationship is a pie in the sky relationship. And it's not worth another moment of your time. What I want to do now, I'm going to reshuffle these cards and I'm going to really ask, what's coming through for you? Where is this future head? Again, not with love specifically, but I mean, with anything. Okay. See what happened. I'm going to read you this quote. Hold on. This just popped into my mind. I just happened to post this on Instagram today. How weird is this? Hold on. What does it say? Let me pull it up. Okay. So I posted this quote today and I just am reading it. So here it is. Never go in search of love. Go in search of life, and life will find you the love you seek. And I think that applies to you in this particular situation, because if you're wanting a relationship, if you're wanting love, if you're wanting that connection, which I think we all do, right? We all do want that. But this is someone who falls in love with life and allows love to flow in and also to flow out. The in is as equal as the out. Okay, it's just as important. And in order to invite new stuff in, you have to let out the old. Let's see. Okay, well, we're getting the same card, so that's a good sign. New love, definitely. And I know I said before that that's not, but I didn't see new love with that same person. But this card does represent a new romantic connection coming in. You are still changing, by the way, too. You know, you're going to be going through your solar return in the next couple of years. You're going to have some, you know, interesting astrological stuff happening. So I wouldn't, yeah, that goes with the Death card there. Strength coming out again. Wow, we're getting a lot of repeated cards. So what else? Two of Wands reversed. This is the recommendation here, okay? Here's the This is actually more of what I was expecting to see in the other reading, in the first kind of part of it. Well, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about that one. Let's pull one more for it. Okay. Cards really want to talk to you. Okay, so there's the stress. All right, so this is the Three of Swords. That's all. That's what this is. That's the Three of Swords. We talked about that already. I know you don't know what to do. I know your mind is spinning. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. But see, look. So that lion, this lion here, is the Nine of Swords. Okay? The lion represents the untamable. Our mind is untamable. We cannot control it. Our mind just continues to go and go and yada, 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 and talk and talk. And it's always talking all the time. It never shuts up, right? That's why that higher self presence, the awareness, the thing in you that is aware of the thoughts that you are thinking, like the one that's like, oh, I am thinking. Oh, I just thought again. And the one that notices that you're narrating everything all the time, right? That's your soul. That's the true essence of who you really are. You are not your thoughts. So what this Strength card is like, okay, rising above the Nine of Swords and putting the Nine of Swords in its place. You can still have the thoughts and feel the things. You know, you can still do that. But you don't have to become so much a part of it. It's not who you are. It's just what your mind is doing. You're hitting up against barriers. You're feeling whatever feelings, like lonely or whatever. This is not someone, again, King of Wands reversed. Let's talk about that. King of Wands reversed. Someone who is very self-centered, who doesn't really understand the concept of reciprocity necessarily. Maybe they cheated. Maybe their sex drive is really strong. And maybe it's also unexpressed. Maybe they have guilt. I don't know. But that's not your journey. It's not a part of what's going on for you. Now, because this presence is still so thick, death, okay, yes, death, thick. I should have probably realized how intense that was. I'm sorry I didn't in the previous spread, but death card is thick and dense. Here is the awakening coming up out of it, though. So it's an end and a beginning all at once. But what needs to happen with the Three of Wands and the Two of Wands, these cards coming out together, both reversed, it signifies a need for you to start envisioning a future. To start envisioning what's possible. See, it's not your job to determine what is and is not possible, right? That's nature's job. That's the universe's job. Your job is to live up to your potential. And for you to say, hey, universe, what I really want is this. And you can envision an amazing relationship. You can envision a lot of money. You can envision a huge company that you own and run and making $1 billion. Like, you can put it out there. It's possible. It happens. People do it every day, right? But you're, I think, getting a little sucked in here, and it's limiting what it is you're putting out there. you're cutting off your potential like way too short-sighted here. And what I want to see from you with this is saying, okay, first of all, an expression of abundance, right? And that's through gratitude and forgiveness, and not holding any grudges, and learning how to rise above and to just watch your thoughts. I know that's so hard. I don't know how well advanced or how practiced you are. It can be a really hard thing to do. If you want to read a good book or listen to a good audio book, I highly recommend The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It's revolutionary, changed my life. Go read it, go listen to it, because it will help with this. Because this is what it talks about. It talks about the Nine of Swords and how to really alleviate that, how to get away from that. Because this too often is what drags people through the mud most of their life. But you are so young that if you learn how to break free from this now, I mean, like I said, it's limitless potential to learn how to not let that affect you. So when you're thinking about your future and all of that, I want you to start thinking as big as possible. When you think about a romance and a love, think about someone who is your best friend, and think about someone that lasts forever, and think about someone that makes you laugh like crazy, and someone that no matter how hard it gets, you both stay like, think about all those good things. Put that out there, because you're a powerful person. Every person is powerful, but not everyone knows it. So if you come into the knowing and you accept it and you use it responsibly, you're going to be like this powerhouse person. And you're going to need someone to match that level. This person cannot. They're not there. They're not there. And they're probably not going to be there, because I'm sensing some narcissism. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but I am. I'm sensing some narcissism there. And it's better for you to get away from that as soon as possible, because narcissism is like an epidemic, because it's being passed on, it's being passed down, and these people are reproducing and having babies, and that narcissism gets passed down like, oh my God, it's like a whole thing. It's better for you to get away, okay? Keep doing what you're doing. You're right where you're supposed to be. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to leave you with that. So we're going to talk about the stars separately in the video. I'll make sure to put that reminder in there for you to send me that information. But beautiful reading. I can't wait to read your stars. And that's it. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.